Okay, my wheels came in. And I got this bag of goodies from the back of the trunk of my car. It's got some stuff that I'll use. And so, I've drilled these 2 holes here. And I've got these started. One's done, the other one's started on this side. And then I'm going to do the back as well. Probably on the far back, I'll put the bigger wheels. And that way it'll have 2 in the front and 2 in the rear. And these are the wheels. These right here. I think they're good enough to do the job. Well, here we are. Got these grade 8 bolts on. And we'll see how they hold up. So the whole thing has been installed. The only thing that I would need is these U-bolts here, which right now I'm not going to worry about. I'm just going to worry about those if I end up needing them. Because I think this will hold just fine, because I also put red thread locker on them. So there's no way these should move, you would think. So I guess we'll... And I put that in. Cost me $10 for an OER one. Okay, so today I'm going to try to move this engine. I had problems last night. I couldn't move it through the kind of muddy ground. Today it's a little more dry, but thing closes real good. But what I'm going to do to get it out of this hole, I've got this really long cheater pipe. That's what I always called it. And what I'm going to do is take this into the air, because this is a fully assembled Chevy 350 that we got to move here. So we are going to jack this up in the air, and we're going to get it off the ground just a little bit. And in order to get this out of the hole, because see, it's this side over here, that tire is in the mud and it just won't move. And it's not really mud as it is soft ground. It's really soft ground because everything around this area is really soft. So what we'll do is we'll lift it up, and I'll use that cheater pipe to pull the engine forward as I lower this. So what it'll do is it'll move this a couple inches at a time forward, and I'll eventually be out of that hole and able to roll again. And hopefully when we roll, we can actually roll across the yard. Alright, so this thing is crap. Doesn't work at all. These stupid caster wheels get stuck in the mud, and this thing is just a POS. Won't move, just gets stuck, stays there. So I had to move this. Took me about probably the better part of an hour and a half to get it to where it's at now. That far. Okay, so I had this sitting on top of this conveyor belt, and what was happening is, you can see how soft that ground is. It was just getting stuck in that. So I moved the 455 and put it over there, and I got this conveyor belt out, laid it here, found an old mud flap off of a truck, and now that's right there. And I think that mud flap is going to be good enough to be my staging piece. Okay, so what I'm going to do is push this sucker onto that, take that conveyor belt, bring it out in front and underneath the lip here, right there, and then we'll push it over onto the conveyor belt again, and we'll continue this process and we'll keep going until we get to the bloody car. And it's, in all reality, it's not that far, but this is backbreaking. This kind of stuff like this. I've been trying to use my legs so far, which of course, use your legs. I ain't got no legs. All right, so we're gonna push that sucker, and you know, I don't know how this is gonna work, but so far I've been able to push it, and inevitably we're gonna get to a point that's probably tough. And what I'm gonna do when it gets like stuck and it gets in a bind is I'm gonna take this POS, and this is going to attach to it, and I was able to move about 1 inch at a time with this. So the way I was doing that was, it's probably more like 2 inches, but I put it on the lowest or the highest tonnage, and so it's the shortest length. That way it'll pick it up kind of evenly distributed between these wheels, and I'm able to grab the chain while I'm lowering it, and I get about 2 inches of length on it. So now, as for when we get to the car, how am I going to get the sucker in? Well, I'm either going to have to move the car by pushing it myself and rocking it back and forth, because the tires are a lot better than what they used to, and the back one will hold air for a little while. So this back tire over here, I can get my air compressor and I can fill this up, and then I can push the car forward, because the car right now has no engine and trans and no interior in it. And I might even take that seat out just so that it's a little lighter, but we'll try to push her forward, and I'll have a chock behind it so that we can chock the wheels as we go. And by we I mean me. And I should be able to get this forward enough. Then the hood comes off and we put the engine in. Well, the hood will be off then anyway, because we'll be trying to push it in there. So we'll get the engine and the trans up on that thing, on that. And we might, since this is downhill, we might be a little luckier with that crane, because once I get the engine here, I'll put that conveyor belt down on the softest side, which is probably going to be that side, and we'll use the mud flap over here, and we should be able to angle it on in there. Now, of course, I'm going to try to do this without damaging the 10th anniversary or this Corvette that's sitting here. So, you know what? I bet this trash sound deadener would work. This trash stuff. This is kind of thick, so I bet this would work as a, yeah, I'm going to use that. You know what? Use your environment, right? So I got that trash stuff that I was going to dispose of properly when it wasn't windy. And instead of doing that, we might use that as something to lay on. Yeah, that's a great idea, because we got plenty of that junk and that poor carpet. Might throw that down. Well, we don't want to lay on that. That's it's got mice and rat feces all over it, so we don't want to lay on that. Plus their urine and their, you know, whatever else. Their juices. We'll just say that. It's got the mice and rat juices on it. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go get ready for this, because, man, this is gonna be a journey, isn't it? Alright, so here it is, finally out of its box. And I've got this, which is an adapter. Oh, there that is, installed. Hopefully it works. It does feel a little loose. Like I can wiggle it around a little bit. Now it ain't coming out past that, but it's still kind of, and that's as tight as that goes, so I don't know what's going on here. I guess that's where it rides. I don't know. If it leaks, I guess I'll just take it out and plug it. Okay. You got everything put on. Got this synchro mesh put in there. 2.75 quarts is what they said to put in. Basically what I put in. Alright, well, here we are. It did rain a little bit last night. I think it just sprinkled. But I'm a little worse for wear. Body's pretty sore. And I'm going to try to get this thing further. I try to get it the whole way over here today. And then once it gets over here, we'll go ahead and install it. But boy, oh boy, is it going to be a job and a half. This moved about the same distance that we did yesterday, and maybe a tenth of the time. So, taking me about 20-25 minutes to move this thing, you know, from, I think it was sitting right here. Right here is where it was sitting. We moved it that far, and we started in there. Now, the hardest thing about yesterday, though, was pulling it out as I got it to here, and then I had to make this turn here and then bring it here, and that was a nightmare. So today, and also yesterday, I did a lot of back-breaking stuff, like I was pushing it and just me, because I got fed up with this engine hoist. I mean, if this engine hoist would do its dang job and just roll on this ground, then we wouldn't have any problems, would we? But apparently a small block Chevy is just too much for this ground. I mean, you could see just even on this ground here, this is a little harder ground, and it's still pushing down. So, there is that. And once we get it over there, we do have, we'll go ahead and put the engine in, and then we'll put the oil in it. The only reason I put the transmission fluid in the trans was because its fill tube and its drain plug are on the side, and it'd be dang near impossible to fill it up when it was in the car. It'd just be a headache. So we take care of all that stuff out here. Well, there we are. Almost to the car. Oh, this has been a long day. Oh boy. We don't have that much time left before it's going to start raining, it looks like. So, we're going to skedaddle as fast as we can. And hopefully we can get this done. I don't think it likes too much. I mean, we'll try to get it over here. And since that's about 10 feet, that's going to take, probably about another 10 times lifting it. So we are getting there. I did start through that section there, from where that mud flap is to there. I got some real progress. It was going about 6 inches each time. I set a 2. Well, we're here. The only thing left to do is to lube up this parts of the clutch fork, and very, very, very tip of the input shaft where it goes in there. Trans is on. Mother of God, was this difficult? I am hurting so bad. And I'm not even done yet. Okay, so I got this here because I'm going to put this over this engine and trans, and I'm going to tape up with plastic bags. I'm going to tape up the trans. So it's going to sit here until my buddy can come out, and I think I'm going to have him pull the car with a chain. So pull the car forward while this is holding this in the air. Hail. So we got this engine and trans here. I got the trans assembled. It was kind of a headache. I basically had to stand over it and do squats to get it on. So it's on there. It's bolted up and everything. It rained at about 5 p.m. and we had like tornadoes, we had hail. I mean, we had some crazy stuff going on. And the hail was pretty big hail. It was probably about quarter sized. And it did leave dents on my black Trans Am and one dent on the hood of the Ventura. Which the Ventura is just my daily driver, but still I don't want dents. And then it left a dent somewhere on this hood. I saw it when it first happened. It's got a dent somewhere. I can't really tell where it's at right now, but after that storm, this does have one dent. Alright, I had to get creative with this. So I'll show, those came out. They were tough to get off. Not because they were torqued down, but because, as you know, the drive shaft spins. And you have to have a way to make sure that the tires don't move. Now, if this is a Positrack, it'd be easy. Because I left the other side on the ground and I just lifted this. Well, this side wouldn't spin. But since this is an open diff, it'll spin all day. So what I did, since I have these snowflakes, is I put this through the snowflake opening to the back of the tire and through to underneath the leaf spring. So what this was doing is, I'll give you a little sneak peek, it was pushing here, and once it'd get here, it'd push against the leaf spring and it'd hold it there. And then when it did that, I was able to get those off. And then I did the same thing when I had to pry the drive shaft off, and the drive shaft is off now and it just fell down. So now all I got to do is take the jack stand out, take the drive shaft out, and we're done. Alright, I had my friend come over and we started this thing. And I didn't even notice, but it was grabbing up here in front, so I do have to fix this later. It's mainly in there. I had to cut my floor. Boy, this turned into an all-day job. Well, we got the motor mount sitting, the bolt is sitting on this side. The other side we got it also sitting, but the other side is the kind that has the nut in this end. So I got to get up underneath the car, scurry on under there, tighten this one down. That one, I don't even know where the bolt is for, or the nut, I mean. So we'll put the hood back on as soon as I tighten this one over here down, because that'll be good enough to hold it along with the trans cross member and everything. So we'll get that finished, you know, this one bolted, and I might have to find a nut for the other one. So got the motor mounts in. That one's tightened down, that one's loose, because I can't find the dang nut for that one. So I feel bad for the guy. He's losing a nut. He's missing a nut anyway. And I didn't even have to jack the car up. Working on these cars is a breeze. God, it's so easy. You can just crawl. You don't even have to jack the car up. There's plenty of room up underneath there. Next, tomorrow, I'll start taking all this stuff off and getting all that wiring done. And getting our acorns out of here. I should have already done that. God bless. I haven't had anything to eat all day, boys. Gotta go and have dinner. Yeah, I mean, the biggest casualty was right here. I mean, this, so this emblem needed changed anyway, but this right here took paint off. And, you know, now it's gonna have to get repainted, but it's not the end of the world. It didn't destroy it, that's the important thing. This thing actually held up pretty well, believe it or not. I used to have a neighbor, real old timer, good friend of mine. He would come over and talk about cars and stuff, and he would lean on these. He would be leaning on it, like sitting on it. I was like, man, get off of that, you're gonna break it. But yeah, here we are. Gosh, back is hurting. Gotta go inside and shower up and all that good stuff. Maybe I could stop whining on the way, right? We can finally take these chains off, and we'll clean this up a little bit more since it's in here. I'm really excited now. I mean, this is a huge step right here. Big step. And that engine hoist has probably seen its last engine pull. That thing's made me mad.